have shelves now! Oh. Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. Oh! I know that was a rough cut. Oh, look, you can see where they took my appendix out of me. Sorry, that was a good shirt. I wanted to wear it to make that joke. Felt relevant when talking about M3gan, but it is too hot to be wearing that big, thick t-shirt. If you're new here, I'm sure that made no sense at all, but I like to keep my viewers on their toes. If you're curious about my excitement with the shelves and all of my physical media, you can follow me on my second channel, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're here to talk about the fact that you have been watching my channel and you're not subscribed to it. What is that about? My returning subscribers, you know I'm not talking about you. But yeah, click the subscribe button, join my cult. I am the Antichrist, I'm Satan's favorite daughter. This corner of the internet is my own little slice of hell. This is my kingdom where I rule. I talk about all things horror here because of course that's what the Antichrist talks about. So also click the like button and the notification bell, that way you never miss the next video. Today my agenda is to talk about M3gan 2.0. This feels a little weird because it doesn't really feel like a horror movie. Even the first movie, like retrospectively, does not really feel like a horror movie. But I talk about things that are even tangentially horror, like I might be reviewing the new Jurassic Park next week. So in conclusion, whatever. I like to start with all my expectations walking into a movie, you know, what marketing have I consumed? Then I talk about all my spoiler-free thoughts, and then we get into a spoiler-filled breakdown, and of course you will get a warning before we get there. So let's talk about my expectations of this movie. The original movie was not very impressive to me. I cannot believe that it's already been 2.5 years since it came out, but at the time, I just thought that it was a very kind of deeply unoriginal movie. I didn't think that it was as slay and as diva cunt as everybody else did. I felt like there also was so much set up in that movie that led me on to believe that the climax was going to be this really big showdown, and then it just was super, super underwhelming. Not to mention I just wasn't a fan of the PG-13 element of it and thought that it would have been better served as an R-rated film. And you know, I make the argument all the time that like we need there to be PG-13 films. We need stuff that is made for preteens, tweens, whatever, because now it's like there are no third locations. There is nothing fun and free for children to do except go on the internet, and not even fun websites like Pop Tropica and Webkins. Like all they have is TikTok. But for that specific story, it just felt like it took all of the bite out of it, and like whatever. I don't know. Maybe they really did want to make like Terminator for Cocomelon babies. I don't know. All I knew was that it just could have been so much better. So anyway, I rewatched the first movie to get reacquainted. It's been like 2.5 years, and trying to build up my hype for the new one a little bit, and also just so I can like make a better review. I decided to watch the unrated cut that I have on physical media, and it's marginally better. There's a little more blood. There is a really cool like ear rip practical effect that looks pretty gnarly. But then for the most part, it's just, there's just a lot more F-bombs in the movie. Like nothing about it is really that different. There is not a lot more violence, not even that much more gore. It's like, I can definitely see why they opted to take that out and just cater to a PG-13 audience, because they were like, wow, we made a really, really tame R-rated movie. Like this barely counts as it is. So literally all we need to do is take out that one practical effect, take out the F-bombs, and then bam, we can cater to a much more broad audience. That said though, I don't know, it made the extended cut a little bit better to me. Knowing what the movie is and trying to kind of meet it on those terms going in, I did actually end up enjoying myself. I still think the first movie is kind of boring. I think it's super generic, but some of, especially like the first half of the movie really cuts deep. I actually think that the little arc that Katie goes on where she gets addicted to M3gan is very real. Her lashing out, her having meltdowns because she is so attached to M3gan and she is very avoidant of her grief and everything. I actually thought that was handled really well. It's the killer doll aspect of it, it's the attempts at comedy, it's the other generic plot threads that just still kind of kill me with that one. So when I caught glimpses of the trailer for M3gan 2.0, I got really excited. If you're new here, I don't watch trailers. The only time that I will is if I'm like super, super skeptical about something and I don't really care about it that much. So I'm like, yeah, okay, what the hell? But I just think that as a general rule, especially these days, trailers spoil so goddamn much. Trailers even spoil themselves. There's like the 5-second teaser before the trailer starts and then the actual trailer starts. It's madness. But you know, I go to the movie theater all the time. So naturally, sometimes when I'm walking in, I will catch a glimpse of a trailer, or, you know, I'll hear something before I get my AirPods in, get that noise cancellation going. And several weeks ago, what was I walking into? Maybe Final Destination. And I heard, "Hold on to your vaginas." I thought, Huh. Interesting. Are they actually making the right move with M3gan 2.0? Because of the relentless memification of the first movie, I thought, oh my god, like they know who their audience is. They're actually gonna be fully leaning into it. I walked in fully expecting to like the second movie more than the first one. I still didn't think it was gonna be like anything fantastic, but I was like, okay, so they know that M3gan has kind of been claimed by the girls, the gays, like the queer community. She's kind of seen as this diva, this little icon. So that's probably what they're going to be leaning into here. That's no surprise. I think that whole culture, by the way, tangent, is why they greenlit Ma 2 for a sequel, because that's kind of been reclaimed in the same way. I had no idea sort of what this group would be teaming up against, but I was definitely getting like Terminator 2 vibes, where now it's going to be flipped and M3gan is going to be on our side. Oh, I know why I was also kind of excited. They were using Femininomenon in the teasers for M3gan 2 a long time ago.
Hit it like, get it hot.
And I was like, this is brilliant. But I don't think that Chappell Roan plays at all in the actual movie. So that was like, what the hell? But all that was leading me to believe that it was gonna be like all out girl boss, girl power, pink, girly pop. I feel like I'm right to have believed that. Like, the posters are totally pink or they're like purplish. I thought they were leaning all in, okay? And to be fair, like, I never watched the entire trailer. I didn't really know what it was gonna be about. So I was taken a little off guard by the actual movie itself. But before I get into my spoiler-free thoughts, honestly, I would be remiss if I didn't also shout out Morgan Killer Doll. This is the first feature film that yours truly I have ever starred in. I play this goth bitch, Fiona, and it was so much fun. Couldn't have asked for a better experience starring in my first horror movie. That's available to rent everywhere online, and it is not an AI story, okay? It's not a killer robot story. It was a movie funded by the studio Asylum, and they deal in mockbusters, so it had to have like a dumb M3gan title ripoff, but it's not that at all. It's its own thing. So yeah, check that out, because I want to start posting spoilers on Instagram, so check it out. Also, I directed a music video to help with the promotion of that movie. You can find that on my channel as well. It's called Plaything. First music video I've ever directed. I've directed some short films, but the music video was super fun. But that's enough of the shameless self-promotion, so let's get into M3gan 2. I was thrown off by this movie. I didn't think that they leaned in to the campiness and the girly popness as much as they should have. In fact, the movie opens with some crazy like special ops American military scene, and I was like, ooh, whoa. For the first like 2 minutes, I literally thought that I had walked into the wrong movie theater. Especially because, oh yeah, the thingy at AMC that plays before all the movies, for like the last month, it's been M3gan.
Hi, AMC fans. It's good to see me, isn't it?
And I'm like, this diva, like, they are gonna make her so much more sassy, so much more fun in the second movie. It's gonna be all about her and this fun new arc. And it kind of was, but it wasn't. Like I said, they kicked things off with the American military, and they're like doing this weapons test with another AI robot. And it just became clear that they were trying to interject even more social commentary into this film, which flopped so badly by the end of it, by the way. It's a mess. It's such a mess, but they really like were interjecting as much as they could, also with the characters as well. Like the starting point of Gemma's arc is very anti-technology, you know, because of what they just went through in the last film. I'll get into more of that with like the plot breakdown. What I will say is that everything just ends up being extraordinarily contradictory. Honestly, this movie is so bad. I don't say that lightly, okay? It's terrible, and that is exactly why I loved it so much. If you follow me on Letterboxd, you might have been so confused when I just said that, because I literally gave it 4 stars, a 4 out of 5. I gave it a heart. I said Megshit Impossible, the final cuntoning. And the thing is, that is not ironic at all. I love bad movies with all my heart. It has to be the right blend of things though, and I think for like plenty of people, there is no world in which they consider this movie so bad that it's good. For a lot of people, there's no world. When you find a movie that's so bad that it's good to you, it's often just like a very personal thing, but it's like comfort food. It's like when I used to get really high and then order a bunch of Taco Bell at 10 p.m. So bad, but so good. I love when a movie goes beyond being so dumb that like you just get to turn your brain off. My brain could be made of pure fucking mush, like pure chickpea mush. Chickpeas. I just be saying things sometimes. But my head could be full of beans and I would still understand this movie. I shit you not, like every 3 minutes, everything stops so that all the characters can explain to each other what's going on. I shit you not, every 3 minutes of the runtime. It's constant. Like, yeah, there is crazy action. There are some fun kills and stuff kind of off screen, boo. But there is a lot of action. There's a dance break. There's a song break. And yet they still manage, I swear to God, if you put it on a timer, that's my guess, is at least every 3 minutes. Everyone stops and says exactly what is going on. So I'm not sure if it's because of that or if it's because this particular set of actors didn't really understand what movie they were in the tone, but the acting comes across very, very stiff. That can be for a multitude of reasons, okay? I generally try not to really come for acting unless I really don't like the person, like, but that can just be for a multitude of different reasons. Like, I just worked acting in a micro budget little film that we had 6 days to shoot, and for the majority of takes that you see in the movie, majority of them, that was the first and only take. So it can be a budget thing, which means it's a timing thing. It can be poor direction, you know? I don't think that everybody was on the same page. And like Allison Williams, who delivers, in my opinion, like an Oscar-worthy performance in Get Out, she seems pretty uncommitted here. And I'm kind of singling her out just because like I know how fantastic of an actress she is. But you kind of get that from everyone. I think that Violet McGraw was actually the only person that was like fully committed and like she was, I think, like acting her ass off. Everyone else, I don't know. I was getting a feeling that the line deliveries were kind of flat and I'm like, maybe they're just, you know, a little too aware of how bad this writing is or something. Oh, everybody also has like deliriously strong plot armor, which I love. That is the kind of contrivance that I eat up every day. Oh, somebody got a giant rod shoved through their entire chest and it's pinning them up against a wall, but they're gonna be fine. Yes, mami, yes. It's also so jam-packed with stuff. It feels like an entire action movie trilogy crammed into one movie. It genuinely gives off the vibe of like a first-time screenwriter with no concept of budget, no concept of pacing or like of subtext either, but especially the budget thing, like literally just throwing everything in there and the producers being like, yeah, sure. What the hell? Hey, blank check. Not really, but they did double the budget of the first movie on M3gan 2.0. I loved it. I loved it so much. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely some really great technical aspects of this film. I think that the various sort of forms that M3gan takes are really fun. Like, there are so many fresh, different ideas in this movie. Maybe not fresh in like the grand scheme of things, okay? It seems like they took some of the greatest hits from like Black Mirror for sure. But rather than being coated in such a layer of bleak, sad feelings like Black Mirror, it's in M3gan, so you can guess, you know, kind of the vibe of that. Also, oh my god, not only does it feel like a Mission Impossible movie, which I just was not expecting at all, like what, we're saving the world? How did we get here? It also feels like a heist movie with like the best, the most contrived double crosses and then a twist on that double cross and then another one and just it's like twists on twists, which I know that is something that gets ragged on about heist movies. There's like an entire Rick and Morty episode that's just shitting all over that entire subgenre of thriller. I love that. Like, oh my god, revealing that the entire heist already happened and this person crossed this person, but oh, that was part of their plan and then this person also crossed this person. I eat that up every day, like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You don't understand. I loved how stupid this movie was. And I think that for majority of audiences, they're just gonna think it's stupid because obviously so many better movies like this exist, like the actual Mission Impossible movies. There are a lot of comparisons to Terminator 2. I don't really get that besides like the attitude flip with M3gan. There is like definitely a main plot that borrows heavily from T2, but I was feeling more Mission Impossible personally. I'm not mad at this movie at all. Like, I kind of loved it. I feel like 12-year-old girls deserve to have their version of Mission Impossible and Terminator. How could I possibly be mad at that? Do I think that filmmakers should be a little bit more trusting trusting of their young audience to like understand what's going on without literally being like, okay, open your mouth and here's the spoon, gonna shove it right in. Yeah, I definitely think so, because like children can understand subtext. Because like when I was growing up, my version of Judgment Day was Judgment Day. I just loved the Terminator movies. But oh my god, if I was like 13 and M3gan 2.0 came out, knowing that it was actually made for me, are you kidding me? It just makes me so happy for like my inner child, but then actual children that have something that is properly catered to them. We are kind of seeing like a big swing in that direction though, and not for the better. Not when a Minecraft movie is gonna be one of the biggest movies of the year and it's one of the worst movies ever made. I'm sorry, we used to get The Lion King, Finding Nemo. We used to get Toy Story. We used to get Shrek. Like, I am not a fan of the quality of children's movies being so poor, but I am happy that once again it feels like things are being catered to them. That there actually is a movie that like 13-year-olds can go out and see and it's for them. I'm not saying if you're an adult that you can't enjoy it. Like, I had a blast. Go nuts. But the culture of social media, I just feel like has ruined so much for kids, and so this makes me really happy. Because I had plenty of movies to go out and see when I was a teenager with my friends. I mean, Insidious was a bit much, but like, I was here for it. So I recommend going out to see M3gan 2, but you just have to know what you're getting into. I didn't really, it was completely unexpected, but still in kind of a good way, and I did get ultimately what I thought that I was signing up for with the further divification of M3gan. But especially if you have teenagers, drop them off, let them go have fun. It is bad though. I don't know if everything I'm gonna say in the plot breakdown is gonna lead you to believe that I actually enjoyed the movie as much as I did. But nonetheless, if you haven't seen the movie, then you are no longer safe. I'm gonna start getting into the whole plot breakdown. Maybe not the whole thing though, because oh my god, there is so much going on in this movie and nobody's posted a full-on plot summary yet, and I can't remember every single little thing. We're gonna do our best, okay? First of all, we're gonna circle back to Gemma, where she starts out and then where she ends up. Oh my god, I love how much all of the character journeys made no sense. She starts out doing TED Talks. She's literally doing TED Talks, going on the news, talking about how dangerous AI is and everything, how she very much believes in like limiting your children's use of technology and everything. And I'm like, yeah, here for it, on board. We learned all the right lessons from the first movie, very good. They also set up that she's not really a team player, that her company is not doing really well, and they're trying to develop something new, but there's a lot of bugs. And what is she developing? But an AI body assistance, not a suit, but like a skeleton. And I'm like, girl, we have not learned as much as we should have. And then later on, not me agreeing with the villain, not me agreeing with Christian. You're building this to help people, but the military will look at this and think super soldier. And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, how does she not? Whatever. You just have to delight in the logical conundrums. That's the only way to really just get lost. Just enjoy yourself. They also set up Katie as this little tech nerd, which I guess, I'm sorry I'm already like tying things to the ending, but looking at it in retrospect, I'm just like kind of trying to make sense of it. So they set her up as this little tech nerd, and they're setting up the thread of, well, if there's good people in technology, then everything will be okay. But then Christian, who was trying to propose AI regulation and everything, thinks that he is a good person, and so then you think by that point, oh, so that's kind of like a logical fallacy. There is no such thing as a person good enough to deal with technology of this caliber. Like, it's just never gonna be safe. And then it loops back on itself. It's very kind of inconsistent. I think it's reasonable that Gemma has kind of overcorrected and she's had a little bit of regression after the trauma of the first movie. In that way, I guess then you can kind of rationalize that she lacks the self-awareness of what she's doing with her new project. I don't know, man. I don't know. Not me doing way too much legwork for this movie, but this is all after the introduction of Amelia, by the way, which the American military, like I said, has been conducting tests with. But then she goes rogue on this mission that they send her on, and then she kind of disappears. That actress, I've seen her before. Who is she? Ivana Suckno? I'm not sure where she's she's from. Her performance is fantastic, by the way. I should have mentioned that in the spoiler-free section. Alas, oh well. Her movements were fantastic. She also used the strategy of not blinking for the majority of her screen time. I think that I only noticed her blink one time, and I think that really sold the effect, but on top of that, also her movements were just fantastic, and I really, really bought into the fact that she was a robot. So my hats off to you, madame. But Amelia is also set up as this new, like, world-ending threat that they have to get a hold of. And oh, what? M3gan is alive, and she pops up in Gemma's ear when the FBI are breaking into her home. Like, girl, the amount, like, there is so much going on in this goddamn film. Gemma and Katie being able to take on all the FBI guys and the house helping them and stuff, I found really funny. But also, when it was revealed that they were the FBI and I was seeing how it was like tying into the whole American military operation and stuff, I was like, oh no, this movie is getting way too big for its britches. Like, I'm about to be just falling into the most convoluted plot of all time. Anyway, so M3gan shows up and Gemma's trying to be all secretive, and that's a whole, like, another C, D, E, F plot about, oh, all the things we went through, and she's not trusting enough of Katie to tell her what's going on, and oh my god, there are so many points of conflict in their relationship. I wish we could just focus on one thing. But then also, oh, now we're at this party, and the billionaire tech guy with the head implant is dealing with Amelia, and he owns the whole cloud, and he can, oh my god, he can turn off the power grid for like a bunch of blocks in New York. It's too much power for one man to have. Is this an insert for Musk, for Zuckerberg, for Bezos? Rich men, evil, control, cloud, AI. It's just a lot that they're throwing at us, okay? It's just a lot. So if it's not making sense coming from me to you, like, especially if you haven't watched this movie, hey, don't worry about it. Hey, don't worry about it. It's a lot going on. I love that Amelia ripped out his spine, and I wish that we could have seen that. There was a lot of brutality in this movie, but then, like, most of it is they cut away from, which just feels really creatively contradictory to me. There's a reason why those action movies and stuff are generally R-rated. But if it's to, you know, be in service of having a silly, goofy time and, you know, allowing more people to enjoy it, then whatever. Somehow Cole is always everywhere as well, just like very conveniently. And I don't know if that was an inside joke with the writing. Like, of course he's at this party. Of course he accidentally knocks himself out and falls down the right shaft to find Katie later on. Like, I want to say that that was probably an inside joke and like a self-aware thing with the writing. But like I said, these actors didn't seem to be aware of the movie they were in and the tone that they should have been trying to capture, because he has some lines that are like obviously meant to be punctuated as comedy, but then for a lot of the time, like, he's playing it kind of straight. I don't know, to me it wasn't played up enough for just like how ludicrous it was. But trying to hack into the main frame or fucking whatever doesn't work at the party, so then they steal a Lamborghini and they're chasing Amelia, and this was awesome. This was like one of those moments that I referenced earlier where it feels like the screenwriter had just no concept of budget and the producers were down to just be like, hell yeah, like, go nuts. That was awesome though. Like, I love watching a Lamborghini whip around and drive real fast. That's fun. So little flavors of like Fast and the Furious in here too. It just, there's so much going on. Can't catch her, so M3gan then locks everyone in a bunker, and then we find out that M3gan has been the guardian angel all along, but now she wants a body. And I knew they were like holding off on the reveal of M3gan in her new form for a long time, like with purpose. They're trying to build that up because obviously that's what we want to see. It was kind of weird, like, this form of girl bossery has never really been my thing, but it also felt weirdly sexual at times. I don't think I'm making that up in my head, okay? Like, there was a scene where she's in her new body and she's like training and she's hitting the thing and like breaking all the wood off, and then she throws the towel over her shoulder and she saunters away, swinging those hips. And I'm like, isn't this like PG-13? I just feel like there are one too many implications there. Like, hello, we just got Companion this year. Glorified sex doll AI movie just came out a couple of months ago. I don't think there's a way to like dissociate? No, that means something else. I don't think that there's a way to not associate an AI robot with like the sexual movements and where your mind goes. Like, I don't think I'm crazy for that. I thought that that was just like a little bit strange. I think that there is definitely a kind of a tightrope line that you walk between this girl's being a diva and, oh, she's being kind of sexy. So that gave me a little bit of a weird vibe, but whatever. So much has happened already that I feel like I'm skimming over, and I feel like my brain is missing a little chunk here. But once her body is formed, then they go to this AI convention where M3gan is trying to find Christian. Is she trying to find him? No, she's trying to find Amelia because they're all there, and Christian is meeting this Chinese ambassador, and the FBI also shows up because they are trying to figure out what's going on with Gemma. It's so much going on, and I'm like, really, did it only take them like a couple of days to build M3gan's new body? That like state of the art, one of the most advanced robots ever made. They just threw that together. Okay, this scene worked for me. I feel like this was kind of the turning point of the movie where I just fully submitted to it, and also it was like when more of the action was picking up. Again, I was also getting a little bit more sold by the whole Lamborghini car chase. I did think that the hold on to your vaginas line was gonna be reserved for maybe a better moment, though I don't know, that was pretty good. Anyway, the dance break in this movie, I think that I preferred to the first one, though it felt kind of obligatory. Not as bad as the singing scene later on, which we'll get to. But here comes the plot armor of the FBI agent, God bless him, took a rod like this thick just through the chest. But you'll live. It looks worse than it is. Eventually, a lot of these pieces fell into place, I guess, like mostly because everyone was explaining it all the way through. But like the Chinese ambassador dying, what I just was like, how, honestly, at the time that it happened, I didn't really care, and I wasn't really musing very much because, like I said, your brain could be made out of potatoes and you would understand what was going on. So I knew that eventually everything was gonna fall into place. I can't remember at what point I started suspecting Christian, but I just was thinking of like the most obvious plot reveal, which would be, you know, the least likely person to be the double crosser and the person behind everything. Because obviously it wasn't just gonna be Amelia. Like, I mean maybe, but nothing in me was thinking that they were gonna completely recycle that plot line from the first M3gan. They had set up all these other characters and, you know, opened all these different threads. So I just wish that I could remember when I started to suspect Christian. But I don't remember. I also, for like a lot of the first act, I forgot that he existed until we saw him again at the AI convention. So whatever. Katie gets kidnapped. And then everybody seems pretty good with taking a beat on that. Like, I don't know, if it were my child, I don't know what would stop me from just getting in my car and driving through my entire city screaming her name out the window. I don't know, but then they go back to regroup and M3gan has her singing moment, and I mentioned pacing issues before and I didn't elaborate at all. I think that this was one such example where the joke comes across in, for me personally, about 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, because, you know, she's singing and then Gemma tries to speak and she like shushes her and then she keeps singing. It's just like not that funny to me, especially not a second time. They struck comedic gold with M3gan singing Titanium as a bedtime lullaby in the first movie. You can't recapture that, okay? You can make a callback to the dance sequence, you know, you can make it bigger and better with more people and flashy lights and a bigger crowd. The singing scene, not for me. I did like how that inspired Gemma to be like, I don't need a show tune doll. I need the killer that'll stop at nothing to protect Katie. I don't remember the first part of what she said. Then we're going like full tilt Mission Impossible, where we're breaking into the giant lab, the evil lair. M3gan even jumps off a cliff, just like Tom Cruise. And I cannot be bothered to get into all of this. Some highlights for me though, obviously Cole ending up at the right place at the right time, so dumb, loved that. Them waking up Amelia and them essentially waking up like the Terminator, because I love when characters making stupid choices leads to awesome action. Also, main highlight and probably my favorite new idea of this movie was M3gan being inserted into Gemma's head. I think that the actor playing Christian, what was his name? I'm so sick of pronouncing it Christian, by the way. His name is Aristotle? For real. He was another example of someone being kind of stiff in the role, but with him, I allowed it, and I'll tell you why. I think it's sort of calling out the men in power who are inexplicably in their position, and the only explanation is their luck and their privilege, because take Elon Musk, for example, who has all the charisma of a dead fucking fish, and I think that's kind of what they were going for. Do I wish that the character fit the tone of the movie a little bit more, and he was a little bit more more quirky and a little more funny and had a little bit more pizzazz on his line delivery. Yeah, I kind of think that's what I would have preferred, but I'll give it a pass with him. I'll give it a pass. It's just weird when you have a character with that much power that doesn't seem very self-assured at all, because at the very least he's delusional, so I just felt like that would have made more sense, but it's fine. My favorite reveal of the movie, actually, I have to backtrack, was definitely when Gemma was putting it all together that like, oh my god, Megan never cared about protecting Katie and she was controlling Amelia this whole time. So I was like, oh my god, double cross. But then no, it was Christian and he was the one controlling Amelia actually. And then how the twists just keep compounding and he was like, but I actually am anti-AI and this is the only way to get the message across and only good people should be controlling technology like this. And the whole time it's like, okay, well, bro's a sociopath, so that's funny. And then they rewired Megan and Megan attacks Gemma, but then Megan was actually, she was stealing the little chip and then Megan is inside of Gemma's brain. I eat up twists like that for days. I don't know how many times I need to say it, but also like one of my favorite thrillers is Wild Things. Similar amount of twists and double crosses and everything. It's so good. That's why my 4-star rating of this film, I swear to God, is completely unironic. It's not just me making fun of it. Like, I have a genuine love for this kind of writing, because even though they're literally trying to save the world from this omnipotent godlike AI being and literally the world could end, it feels so dumb and low stakes, and sometimes we just need that. That goes right along with when they're playing it up like Megan's gonna make the ultimate sacrifice and she's gonna die, but then you know she's not gonna die. Like, you know that she's gonna pop back up. So it's just, yes, it takes the emotional weight out of it, but also like your heart doesn't stop. So it's nice. But then the ending of the movie having such a positive AI message is confounding. It is absolutely asinine. Gemma goes from having the proper ideology of having care in the involvement of child development and limiting their access to technology to then, okay, to be fair, maybe she still feels that way, but then to flip-flop from being like anti-AI and like wanting all those regulations to, no, if we are good to AI, it will be good to us. AI has feelings. Girl, what the fuck? Like, oh my days. Could you imagine if at the end of Terminator 2, they were like, well, maybe we should reconsider this whole war because Arnold is good now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this doesn't change anything about AI as an entity, how it grows, how it evolves. There aren't enough well-meaning people in the world. There aren't enough people smart enough in the world to control such a scenario. Just absolutely ludicrous, and you have to love it. Or you don't. I don't think that most people do. The top reviews that I saw on Letterboxd were pretty low ratings, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys don't share my opinion at all. Or maybe you do and that's the very reason why you don't like the movie. But dumb shit just really feeds my spirit sometimes. What can I say? I think that's enough. I talked way longer than I thought I was going to about M3gan 2.0. This is all deeply unserious. It's so deeply unserious, so apologies if I ever came off like this was some real deep thing. I hope that you at least had fun engaging with this conversation, and please feel free to leave a comment down below. And since the movie just came out, definitely throw a spoiler warning on the top of it if you want to get into spoilers. But that'll do it for me. I have a second channel where this week I will be posting the vlog of me building this shelf, or these shelves rather. So whoops, I've spoiled that a little bit, but come along for the journey. It was a long one. It took me like 11 hours. I also have a Patreon where I have a podcast with my dad. It's called Boomers because I'm Gen Z and he's a boomer. So the end of Boomers, it's spelled with a Z, you get it. And we talk about movies and I explain online controversies and share Gen Z related culture stuff with him. This week, I taught him all about the man versus bear debate that happened on the internet a couple months ago as it related to 28 Days Later, if you can believe that. So yeah, we get into all types of stuff. We talk about the controversy of Lilo and Stitch this week as well, but there's lots of other content and other series on the Patreon. Depending on which tier you join, you get a bonus video every single week. You can also find me on social media. I post behind the scenes of the movies that I produce, the movies I star in, the music video, all that's on my Instagram. But more than anything, I just hope that you enjoyed this video and that I catch you in the next one. Bye.